Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. Every year, Vanguard releases a report titled How America Saves, giving us a deep dive into how Americans are investing for retirement. Since Vanguard oversees millions of employer-sponsored plans like 401ks, this report gives us a pretty clear picture of how Americans are doing financially, and importantly, highlights some areas where we can improve. And one of the most attention-grabbing segments of this report is the average 401k balance by age. So let's break it down, and let's dive into some strategies that you can use to increase your retirement savings and get you further along towards financial freedom, whether you're just getting started out or optimizing your portfolio as you near retirement. So let's dive in. Tax-advantaged accounts help Americans save for retirement, whether you're using a tax-deferred account like a traditional or taking advantage of tax-free growth through a Roth. These tax-advantaged accounts are a cornerstone for allowing Americans to achieve financial independence. Now, because this is the most sought-after information of the report, let's dive right into the data. For those under the age of 25, the median 401k balance is about $3,000. For those 25 to 34, median account balance is about $15,000. For those aged 35 to 44, median account balance is about $36,000. For those 45 to 54, median account balance is about $61,000. And for those age 55 to 64 and those age 65 and older, the median account balance is about $88,000. Averages are much higher because they are skewed by individuals with very large account balances. The median better represents the typical individual, while the average is skewed by outliers, but both metrics are useful in different ways. Super savers in personal finance are passionate about investing. They're passionate about setting lofty goals. The aim isn't to be typical. That's why I think both the median and the average can be helpful, because if you want to use the average as a benchmark, you can do that, and it forces you to push yourself a little bit further. And having a financial cushion opens up a lot of options in life. Maybe it's achieving financial freedom at an earlier age or being able to enter into an early retirement. The biggest contributing factors when it comes to being able to invest and your overall investment account balance are your income level as well as your time in the workforce. Quite simply, as income increases, it becomes easier to save a greater dollar amount. So when we break things down by median and by average, account balances appear to move in lockstep with income levels. A higher income doesn't guarantee higher investment levels. When your income increases, you have to make the conscious effort to increase your savings rate as well. And the last thing you want is to be saving the exact same amount when you're 40 and have already been in the workforce for 20 years and your income has doubled from your starting point. Some common questions from these charts are, how am I doing? Or what should I be aiming for? It's so important to keep in mind that the information reflected in the median or the average do not pertain to you. I know there's curiosity around these numbers, but they don't provide any value to you on the individual level. You want to create an individual target for your personal finances and your individual lifestyles. And for that, we do have a general guideline. Having 1 times your income saved up by the time you're 30, having 3 times your income by the time you're 40, 6 times your income by the age of 50, and 8 to 10 times your income by the time you hit retirement. And these recommendations can be really useful guidelines. And I think the main takeaway from them is that you should start investing early and stay consistent throughout your entire course of your working career and allow compounding to work its magic on growing your money. If you follow these guidelines, it helps you to avoid that all too common problem of starting later in life and then having to play the game of catch up. Keep in mind that these recommendations are based on a fairly typical income trajectory. On the other hand, when we have individuals who experience significant income jumps at different stages of their careers, they may find themselves not able to meet these benchmarks and then they feel behind. But make no mistake about it, if you experience a significant income jump, that is a great thing no matter where your investments sit. Also, if you're aiming for an early retirement, you probably want to save more aggressively to make sure that that can happen. If you're aiming for a delayed retirement, you can have a more modest savings rate. There's so much individualization that has to happen in personal finance in order for you to be successful. And like I said before, medians and averages have nothing to do with you personally. I think a notable piece of information is that Americans are getting better at saving for their own future. When broken down by generation, Gen Z has a savings rate of 7.2%. Millennials have a savings rate of 8.6%. Gen X has a savings rate of 10.2%, and baby boomers have a typical savings rate of 11.8%. And the median employer match is 4%. With this match, many investors are hitting a savings rate of 10 to 15%, which is really encouraging to see median figures in this ballpark because financial professionals often recommend that you should be saving 15 to 20% of your income. And as more people have a better savings rate, this is going to increase retirement readiness in the long term. When you're just getting started, I think the most important thing, rather than hitting a specific savings amount, is simply to get started. When your income is modest, it can be hard to carve out a set percentage for saving. So I think at that point, the most important thing is just get started saving something. So when you're starting out in your 20s or your 30s, maybe you have a modest savings rate. That's totally fine. But then maybe you set the goal to increase your savings rate 1% per year until you hit a certain target. Maybe that's 15%. Maybe it's 20%. Also, if your employer has a match, make sure you capture that match. That is free money. You don't want to leave it on the table. Also, this is the decade or the decades where you want to keep lifestyle inflation in check. As your income increases, it's totally fine to increase your lifestyle a little bit, but while you do that, make sure you increase your investments a little bit too. By the time you hit your 40s, you should solidly be hitting this 15 to 20% saving and investing rate. You also want to take this time to assess if you're on track for retirement. If you look at this when you're decades out from retirement, it can allow you to make small modifications that keep you on track. So this is a good time to look at your retirement readiness. The contribution limits to a 401k at this stage of life are $23,500 for the year. That's a hefty limit, and if you can hit it, that's an amazing goal. As you go into your 50s, the contribution limit to a 401k increases by $7,500 for those age 50 to 59 and for those age 64 and older, meaning you can contribute a total of $31,000 a year to your 401k. If your budget allows for it, this can be a great way to catch up on your investments if you're feeling behind. Also, this decade is crucial for finalizing your retirement plans and finalizing a withdrawal strategy in retirement. At this point, you want to assess whether you're going to eventually face RMDs and what your taxes might look like and how to minimize them in your retirement years. Remember, the importance of planning ahead cannot be understated. For those age 60 to 63, you can contribute an extra $11,250, increasing the annual limit on a 401k to $34,250. If your budget allows, this is a great time to boost your savings. And it really can allow you to go into retirement with a robust nest egg. Now, what if you wanted to maximize the growth potential of your investments? To maximize your investment growth, you want to increase your savings rate. Maybe you increase your investment rate anytime you get a raise, not just on an annual basis, or maybe whenever you can find ways to cut your expenses. You also want to consider taxes. You want to consider whether you're going to be better served with a Roth or traditional. Are you in a higher tax bracket today, or will you be in a higher tax bracket in your retirement years? Maximize all available accounts. Does your employer offer an HSA? This can be a great way to set aside money on a tax-free basis for medical expenses for now and in the future. If you still have money left over after maximizing these accounts, maybe you look into opening an IRA or just a simple brokerage account. I always think it's a worthy goal to build multiple income streams. And keep in mind, during your working years, when you're investing, you're actively building a future income stream for yourself that will come from your investments. But the more income streams you have, the less reliant you are on any single income source. When it comes to saving and investing for your future, really what you want to do is get started and stay the course. Meaning get your money invested and leave it invested. If you do these two things, you're likely to have a successful retirement. Other than that, you want to avoid some of the biggest mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes is avoiding simply getting started. The longer you wait to get started investing, the more it will cost you in terms of compounding. Avoiding getting started even a handful of years can easily cost you several hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time you hit retirement. Another big mistake is making sure that you're not leaving money on the table. So that means if your employer has a match, you want to be contributing at least up to that match so you capture the entire available amount. Also, you want to make sure you're investing in a tax-efficient manner. You're not investing in a way where you're facing excessively high fees and you're not bouncing in and out of the market based on market performance. These two tactics alone can easily cost you several hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of an entire working career. And probably one of the biggest mistakes is cashing out a 401k when you change jobs. According to a study published in Marketing Science, approximately 41.4% of US employees cash out their 401k savings upon leaving a job, with 85% of those individuals withdrawing the entire balance. That is an alarmingly high number. One of the best things you can do is leave your money invested for the long term. So if you leave a job, you don't have to cash out your 401k. Maybe you decide to roll it over to an IRA. Maybe you decide to roll it into the 401k of your new employer, but don't cash it out. In most cases, it will just hurt your future self. So here's the takeaway. Building a healthy retirement account isn't about luck. It's about consistency and smart strategies and avoiding costly mistakes. Start early, even if it's small, because compounding is your best friend. Increase your savings rate over time, especially as your income grows. Max out employer contributions. It is free money and one of the easiest ways to build wealth. And avoid cashing out your 401k when changing your job. Just seriously don't do it. At the end of the day, you're in control of your financial future. And the goal isn't to simply be able to retire one day, it's to be able to retire comfortably and on your own terms. What are your thoughts and how are you making progress on your retirement journey? Leave your thoughts in a comment down below. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye. I don't know where I want to go. Help me. Send me a sign. Okay, I think we can do this. Can't do it today. In step. I think it's supposed to be in lockstep. Somebody's gonna call me out on that one, rightfully so. All right, let's say it the right way. And I have medium written on my notes for the numbers, and I just keep thinking of a medium, like, let's communicate with grandma, you know? When I reply here on YouTube, I use talk to text all the time, so if there's errors, I'm so sorry. Like if I talk about a medium rather than a median, sorry. It helps. Cheese it beats. Oh my goodness, I'm just done. I think I'm broken. So broken today. I'm worn out. I'm trying to film 3 videos. I'm 1.5 in, halfway there. We got this. Okay, 2%. I don't know where I want to go after that.